Now I'm going to get my cutting board back out because I'm actually ready for it. And the next thing I'm going to do is punch my holes. Okay, what I have here is a number 8 Osborne punch. Okay, I'm not sure what that means as far as the actual size of it, and in inches, but it doesn't really matter. Basically, you need a hole punch that fits down inside of one of these holes, and that's it. It can be a little bit smaller, or it can just barely fit. It doesn't matter as long as it fits. Let me turn this thing sideways here, because I want you to be able to punch your holes through the template, and that'll make it a lot easier to line them all up. So there we are. Grab my maul here. All right, so I have now punched all of those holes. Now what I have to do is take my scalpel, and I'm going to run my scalpel through each of these cuts right here. Okay, and again, this pattern, this template was designed to be used with a scalpel, so that is just the exact right width that a scalpel blade will fit in there, and you can give it a nice pull. Now, there's a reason that these holes are at the ends of these cuts, and it's not something you can skip. Having these holes at the ends of these cuts actually keeps this leather from tearing over time when people stuff whatever they're going to in this wallet. I know a lot of people have a habit of carrying lots of cards and stuff like that in their wallet. This one has 6 different pockets, but I have made them for people and seen that they put 12 or more cards in the daggum thing. And so these keep that from splitting the leather and then ripping it out the side there. Okay, so there we have it. There's all of our cuts are done. Okay, now very important, on this template there's an area right here. It says do not cut out. Hard to see, sorry. Do not cut out. Okay, because under that it says to mark the tape lines, turn the leather over, place on the top of the rectangle at each cut line, and mark along the bottom of the rectangle. We will explain that. What that means is you're going to take your leather and, like it said, turn it over. Okay, now this rectangle is here to measure your card pockets. Okay, now what I'm going to do is actually, even though it's the exact width of the card pockets, I'm going to offset it just a little bit over here to the right. Okay, and I'll show you why. It'll be important in a second. And I'm going to line up one of the long ends of this rectangle with the exactly at the cut for the bottom card pocket. And where did my pen go? There it is. Okay, and then I'm going to take a pen and I'm going to draw a line along the other side of it. Okay, then I'm going to move it up to the next one, and I'm going to do it again. Then I'm going to move it to the next one. And guess what? I'm going to do it again. So there are 6 cuts, and there should be 6 lines drawn when you're done. Okay? I believe that was 4. Getting a little crooked there. 5. Then your 6th one is dadgum near at that that bottom cut there. It's real close to it actually. So 6. All right. So there's how it looks now. I have 6 cuts and 6 lines. Okay. Now, what we are going to do now is we are going to build the credit card pockets, okay? I love this method because it keeps the wallet really thin. There's not a ton of work and skiving and things like that involved. And when it's done, it looks very, very professional because on the outside of the pocket, all you see is this right here. It's clean. It doesn't have a ton of stitches in it. It doesn't have rivets. It doesn't have anything. It's just a nice, clean area, and you put your cards in it, and it works great. So you are going to need 13 pieces of tape, okay, double-sided tape. The stuff we sell is our double-sided sticky tape is a 1/4 of an inch wide, okay, and each of your 13 pieces of tape need to be about the width of one of these cuts. All right, so I've already cut out my 13 because you don't want to sit here and watch me do that. And we're going to pre-place most of these pieces of tape, but there's a few that we can't place until we're actually working here. Okay, so we're going to put one between the top cut and the top of the wallet. Okay, I'm just going to put it up there. We're going to put 6 of them, one below each cut, right at, I mean, just as even with the bottom of that cut as we can, making sure not to, of course, overlap the cut, because then you're going to have a hard time getting a card into and out of the wallet. Okay, I need to open these cuts up a little bit. They're so fine, it's hard to see them. So again, I'm putting one piece of tape at the bottom of each cut. All right, now I'm going to take one more piece of tape and I'm going to put it at the very top of the bottom line. Okay, I've got my very bottom drawn line there, and I'm going to put this piece of tape just above it. Okay, so there's what we look like now. Okay, I'm going to take my Tyvek here. This is black Tyvek. It's pretty rare, and if you can find it, it's fairly expensive. Normally in classes and things like that, I use white Tyvek. It's very, very readily available. You can find it on Amazon or eBay, or heck, you can find it at Home Depot. They use it to wrap houses and things like that before they put the siding on, and it's like an extra layer of insulation. Also, Postal Service has bags that are made out of it, mail bags that you can use. And I've never done it, but I've always wanted to make a wallet that on the inside of the card pocket said priority mail. I just thought that'd be cool. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to take the paper backing off of this very, very bottom cut line piece of tape. Okay? And we're going to take our Tyvek and we're just going to lay it across it, making sure that it runs straight up and down with all these cuts and parallel with the sides of this piece of leather. Okay, if you get this thing off track, then it can, when you start folding it back and forth, it can go one way or the other, and you don't want that. So there we go. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it back down against that tape. Again, it's going to be just below that card pocket line, or that cut. Okay, and I'm going to make a crease right there. And this is beginning the very first card pocket. Now, I'm going to fold it back up after I've got my crease so I can take the piece of tape or paper off the back of the tape there. Okay, then I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to pull it not tight, but I'm going to make sure it doesn't have any wrinkles in it. And I'm going to tape it down right there at that bottom piece. Now, the reason we offset that acrylic template a little bit to the side is so that I can still see where my marks are for other layers. Okay. And if you lost those, that's okay. You can always put that little template back up there and remark them on the back of your Tyvek or your ribbon or whatever you're using for your cards. Okay, so I'm folding it back up again, and I'm creating another crease. Once I've done that, I'm going to take the tape off of the very second piece, or the very second cut, and we're going to go ahead and lay it right across. Okay. Now, once I've done that, I need to come over here to my tape. I need to get another piece, and I need to put it just above where that second mark is going to be. So right there. And that's going to start forming the second pocket. Okay. So I'll pull my paper back down and form my crease. And then when I go back up with it, I'll go ahead and take this backing off this tape. And I'm going to pull it down. There it is. Now we have 2 card pockets. Okay. Now again, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to crease it right even with that line. I'll go up here to my third cut line, and I'll remove the paper. Lay my Tyvek across it, create another crease, and there we go. This is way faster than individually cutting out card pockets out of different pieces of leather and skiving them down and doing all that, and it creates a thinner wallet. So yeah, I can build 3 or 4 of these in the time that somebody can probably build one of of another style where you would have to cut out each individual piece and card pocket. So we're just going to keep doing that same repetition as we continue up. This is the third card pocket being completed right here. Fold it forward and create the crease. Remove the tape. Lay it across the tape on the cut, and then we'll fold it back down again. Create a crease. There are written instructions that came with your wallet templates, but this is a very hard process to describe in writing. I did an article for the Leathercrafters Journal making a passport wallet, and the card pockets in it were the exact same as these, except for the cards were laying sideways like a billfold style. And yeah, I scratched my head for a couple of days trying to figure out how in the world to describe this process, because it's very, very hard without being able to show someone. All right, 4 card pockets are done. We're going to create another crease here, go back up with it. This piece of Tyvek is really, really long. I cut a whole roll of it into the width of strips that I would need to make my wallets, but I want to say 40 inches is a very, very safe number to use to make sure that you have plenty of Tyvek that's going to run the length of your wallet project. I say Tyvek. It could be ribbon. The really cool thing about ribbon is that you can get different colors. And I just kind of misplaced that tape. Let's see if we can pull that back off. Whew, thank gosh. Glad I didn't push that down. All right. So anyway, again, ribbon you can get in all kinds of different colors and widths and things like that. My issue with ribbon is it's kind of thick. And I know you're thinking, well, Aaron, ribbon's not that thick. Well, you got to think about in the middle of this wallet is 12 layers of this Tyvek. And those 12 layers are going to be less than a 1/16 of an inch thick. If you're using ribbon, depending on the thickness of the ribbon, of course, I mean, I've seen some of these things get really, really thick. And then you got to think that now you're going to shove cards in there too. And that's going to overall make a very thick wallet. And anybody that sits down a lot on a wallet knows that if it's too thick, it just stinks. All right, we are almost done here. I got one more card pocket to form, and then we'll finish it off. So I did my crease. I'm going to take my piece of tape from that very top cut line. Lay it across the line. Fold it back. create my crease. Then I'll place my very last piece of tape. It's a little bit long. Let me trim it down real quick. It's the same width, the length as all the other pieces of tape. I just accidentally cut this one too long. So yeah, there's no requirement for this piece to be any different length. Okay, in the home stretch now. So we are going to lay it back down across that bottom piece there. All right, and then this very top piece of tape here is just what's going to finalize the running of the ribbon or Tyvek, and give it a place to end. So there we have it. It is now done as far as all the card pocket creation there. I'm going to take my scissors and just trim off my my Tyvek. And there it is. We now have 6 credit card pockets individually made.